Greg, have you been breaking anything while you're playing your game of the week this week?
Just my fragile mentality, probably. That's what I've been breaking. Like, obviously, coming off last week, put the finishing touches to Link's Awakening, so obviously, like, we all know, like, I didn't really rate that very much. And looking at my physical Switch library, I only have like Splatoon 2 to finish, and what's the other one? Luigi's Mansion 3. Now it's barely been started, so I haven't dipped into it yet. But Splatoon 2, the story in it was pretty far along. I think there's 5 main worlds in that game, and I was well into the 4th one. So I resumed the save file, and I've now finished it.
Hey.
And I don't know how to feel about it really. Like I actually really liked the story in the original Splatoon, and obviously it was new and like fresh, and like it kind of taught you how to like play the game really, and like the different weapons, and also like you're going through each levels and you're sort of discovering different uses for each weapon. And Splatoon 2, the story in it kind of just feels like more of the same. It's like that tutorial all over again, kind of. And because I obviously am familiar with the first game, it didn't feel, like I say, as fresh. But there's more variety in the weapons in the second game than there is in the first game. But if anything, that was maybe to the detriment of the experience for me personally, because there's quite a number of weapons that I don't enjoy using, like the bucket, for example, or there's one, I can't remember the names of them, but there's one where you have to like charge in and then it shoots out like an umbrella. And using those sorts of weapons in combination with the general like slow pace of like the walking, like the character speed and stuff, it's like it almost felt like a wee bit of a slog. And like the levels themselves are quite short, but it works on the system where like you have 3 lives to level, and like if you die and reach a checkpoint, your life will be like you'll get another life or whatever. But there's a few levels where it's like I was going through them fine, and then like I would end up losing my 3 lives on like an area that I just was either having trouble with or was just becoming really frustrating. And it's like the thought of having to restart the level again, just like go through all that bit again, it's like, fair enough, it's not that far to go, but it was just becoming a bit of a frustrating experience, and overall just really kind of disappointed with it. And I did, because like I sort of played it in bits, like I played it when it originally came out, and then I'd done like a level here and there over the last couple of years, but I kind of forgot about the leveling up of the weapons. So just before I like done the final boss and stuff, like I realised I could go and like upgrade weapons, so I had been sort of plodding through the whole thing with the weapons at their like lowest. So that was probably making the game more difficult than it should have been, because there was definitely one section where I was like having a wee bit of trouble with, and then I realised, if I upgrade that weapon there, went in, done the level again, I was like, oh, actually it was the final boss, like, because if you've played it, it's DJ Octavio or whatever his name is, and he's got these big arms that sort of shoot out, and you sort of like shoot them back, and you have to shoot them a few times for him to like fling back and hit him. And with the weapons at the lowest level, like trying to get them back was like you had to be like absolutely perfect. And it was becoming a wee bit annoying. And then once I just leveled up the weapon, it was like that was so much easier, and I sort of like blitzed through the final boss then after that. That sort of made me think I would probably have enjoyed the story a wee bit more if I'd bothered to level up the weapon. So that, I mean, that's on me, but yeah, I think because I loved the first game so much, I am disappointed by the sequel, and it doesn't make me that excited for a third game unless they do something really different, and I'm not entirely sure they would, to be honest. And I know the Octo expansion is there, and it probably does a few different things, but I don't feel like I want to buy it, and that's where I'm at really with Splatoon.
Where you're at, I wouldn't recommend the Octo expansion. I haven't finished the Octo expansion. There's a couple of levels. I'm such a completionist. I want to finish every level before moving on. and there's 2 or 3 levels as you go in through this kind of underground, and I just couldn't do them, and I didn't go back to it. But yeah, it's pretty much more of the same. Very, very slight differences, and the levels tend to be a little bit shorter as well. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.